Today we're going to be taking a look at 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. This set is set to release on January 1st of 2024 with 215 pieces and a retail price of only $30 US. Yes, $30 US for 9 minifigures and 4 builds. This set really does have the potential to be the best army builder that we've ever seen. And now digging into the box, on the back you're going to have those annoying thumb tabs. However, this is a smaller set, so thumb tabs are expected. And on the inside you're going to find 3 numbered bags and 2 instruction manuals. One instruction manual is for all of the minifigures as well as the speeder, the barricade, and the stab, and the second instruction manual is for the Droid. Inside your first instruction manual you're just going to find your standard LEGO building process, and again it's going to be the one where you build all of your clones and your battle droids. And then on the very back there's going to be this advertising, I guess, for what's called Rebuild the World. I honestly have no idea what this is referring to. I guess it's just some sort of LEGO slogan. And then in the second instruction manual is where you're going to find the instructions for the Droid. And then on the very last page, you're going to find advertising for the whole entire January 1st, 2024 wave, which is just 2 sets. Taking a look at the minifigures here, first up we just have 2 regular battle droids, which at first just seemed like 2 regular B1 battle droids. However, if you notice, the battle droid on the left actually has 2 straight arms, which actually categorizes it as a whole entire separate figure from the battle droid on the right, which has 2 bent arms. And if you're really getting in depth like this is the first time that LEGO has put a 2 straight arm battle droid in a set since 2008, which is just really random. Typically battle droids have 1 straight arm and 1 bent arm. However, this one has 2 straight arms for some reason, which makes it kind of unique in a way, but also not very unique because you can easily switch out the arms. And also, if you notice, the one with 2 bent arms has a little clip on the back that can hold his gun, and that's because this is the one that goes on the stab, which we'll take a look at here in a minute. And again, he has 2 bent arms. However, there are extra straight arms included as extra pieces, so if you want you can just easily switch the arms out so he can hold his blaster. And honestly, I never expected myself to be talking so in-depthly about battle droids, but here we are. The next figure we have is the long-awaited Super Battle Droid. This is the first set that we've seen a Super Battle Droid in since 2015, and this is a new and improved version. Here he is compared to the older version that we got back in 2015, and as you can see, their torso molds are different, with the newer one just being a lot sleeker and a lot more defined. But other than their torso molds, their legs and arms are pretty much exactly the same. If any difference, the newer one is just a bit sleeker all around, and you do get 3 of them in this set, which makes it an awesome droid army builder. And then next up here we have the Clone Shock Trooper. This is the exact same Shock Trooper that was in the Coruscant Guard gunship. I really like this figure. In my opinion, it's one of the better clones that was released in 2023, minus the helmet holes, which I will discuss a little bit more in-depthly in a little bit. However, still, I think this is a great figure, and honestly, the helmet holes aren't even super noticeable on this one just because of his helmet printing. I've talked about this before, but some clone troopers they're noticeable on, and some clone troopers they're not, and on this one, I don't think they're super noticeable. However, they are a bit more noticeable on the plain white troopers. However, first, I want to talk about the troopers themselves because the printing on these guys is incredible. These are the long-awaited plain white Phase 2 clone troopers. The last time we saw troopers like this was in 2014, and now LEGO has finally remade them, and they just look so good. Everything from the helmet to the torso to the legs, these are some of the best looking clone troopers that I think LEGO has ever made in terms of printing. However, again, the elephant in the room is still the helmet holes. I know it's getting kind of annoying to discuss at this point, but there's really no way around it. There's a lot of people that really like them, there's a lot of people that don't like them, and there's a lot of people that claim they like them just because it makes them feel different, and I myself, I don't like them, and I'm not afraid to say that. If these newer Phase 2 clone troopers were the only clone troopers in my collection, I wouldn't mind the helmet holes. However, when I compare them to my clone troopers from 2014, yeah, it is pretty disappointing just because the 2014 clone troopers look so good. But it does come down to personal preference. I'm not going to go way out of my way to complain about them, even though I don't really like them. However, there is one thing with them in this set that does frustrate me a lot more than with them in the other sets, and that is that there aren't any helmet accessories included. LEGO's argument is that they have the helmet holes for playability with the helmet accessories. However, helmet accessories are nowhere to be seen in this set. I think it would have been so easy for LEGO to include a little bag of helmet accessories like you see here to add some customization with the clone troopers and, you know, validate their point of why they have the helmet holes. However, no, there are no helmet accessories to be seen anywhere, and I just think that's a bit frustrating considering the fact that the only reason they have them is for quote-unquote playability. But again, it comes down to personal preference, and my personal preference is I just don't really prefer them. But other than that, I think the troopers look absolutely incredible, and I'm also sure that most of you guys will have some helmet accessories in your collection so you can customize them as you please. Now moving on to the actual builds, there are a lot to go over. Starting off with the clones, first up here you have this little barricade in this little box, and inside the little box is going to be a little printed grenade or detonator piece, whatever you want to call it. And then you get this little barricade that I think is a super awesome looking build. No, it's not not quite like the one that we saw in 2007, however, I still think it looks really cool. And on the top, there's going to be this little stud shooter that shoots really far, and you can lose the piece very easily. And there are also clips on the back where you can put the clone trooper's blaster and stand him behind it like he is manning the barricade. And then the coolest thing about this barricade to me is that both of these shields can pop off and the clones can actually hold them. And in a way, I guess you could say they resemble a riot shield, and it just looks super awesome, especially when they're holding their shield and their blaster. I think this is a really cool feature that doubles as a barricade and as accessories. And then next up here we have the clone bark speeder, and I'm not gonna lie, in the reveal images I thought this speeder looked really bad, and in person it's not great, but it's not as bad as I was expecting it to look. And the main reason it doesn't look good is just because the bars on the front are a little bit too short, although it does look a little bit better when you fit the clones on there. And on the back there are these two pieces that can hold their blasters, and there are also two stud shooters on the side that you can fire as you please. I messed around with it a bit and I found this pretty easy solution to make it look a lot better actually. And really you have to take the whole front section apart and just grab the gray piece that connects the two bars together and put it on the underside, and then from there put those triangle pieces back on and then put the blasters on the end, and it makes the middle section of the front look a lot longer, which just makes it look more proportionate and a lot cooler in my opinion. So if you really don't like how the speeder looks, that is a pretty easy way to fix it. Now moving on to the droid builds, first up here we have the Stap, and this is a completely brand new design from what we've seen in the past, and I do have to say LEGO definitely blew it out of the water with this new design. Here it is compared to the older one, and you can tell it's just a lot sleeker and a lot more accurate looking, and my favorite part about it is that it stands on a clear circle piece and not just a brick like the older ones did. And then next up here we have the main build, which is the Tri-Droid, and I have to say this thing looks really awesome as well. As expected with a Tri-Droid, the top of it can spin around, and if you pop the dome piece off, there's actually this little pink transparent piece in there, which I guess is supposed to represent like the droid's brain, which is a really cool little Easter egg they hid in there. And then right underneath the eyes there are the flick fire missiles that you can fire as you please, and this definitely does bring back some memories. We don't usually see flick fire missiles very often anymore. And then lastly, the legs can move as expected, however there aren't really very many ways to pose it besides just having all four of them level on the ground. You can't really make it look like it's walking or anything because it'll just fall over. However, that doesn't really matter because I think it looks best in its normal stance anyways, and obviously it's not minifigure scale, however it does look really cool when you have the clone troopers underneath it like they're shooting up at it. And honestly, I'd say every build in this set looks really cool. Really the only downside in terms of builds is the speeder, however there is that really simple little fix I showed to make it look a lot better, and then all the other builds and the minifigures are almost perfect. From the new Stap design to the new battle droids to of course the Tri-Droid and the barricade, all the builds are just really nice, especially for only $30. However, again, like I said earlier, it does really frustrate me how they did not include any helmet accessories, and their argument for the helmet holes is that they're for helmet accessories, but really that's the only downside about this set to me, is just LEGO not including accessories. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think this is an incredible playset and one of the best army builders that we have ever seen. Let me know what you guys think about this set down in the comments below, and if you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the end screen right now.